Hey guys, what's up? It's Austin and welcome back to my channel. This morning I headed over to my local CVS and picked up a full face of E.L.F. cosmetics. Now I've never tried out any of E.L.F.'s products before, but that is exactly why I wanted to film this video. Girl, now the first thing I don't understand is why I need a 5-foot receipt from CVS. Like, girl, for what? Girl, we are just killing all the trees, are we not? I do not need all of this. And these coupons, can you just attach them to my CVS card, please? I do not need all this paper. We are killing trees, killing the world. Let's get with the program, CVS. I need a paperless option, please. Thank you. Ugh. Bye-bye. Okay, let's get into the makeup. Let's see what we've got here. Alright, as usual, I'm going to be starting off with my brows. I picked up the brow pencil in the shade Deep Brown. So this is what the product looks like. You have a spoolie on one end, and then on this end is where the brow pencil is. It looks fairly thin, but it doesn't look as precise as I usually like it. Also picked up the eyebrow pomade. This is the E.L.F. Lock-On Liner Brow Cream in the shade Espresso. This is what the product looks like. This is what it looks like on the inside. When I'm doing my brows, I like to outline the bottom of the brow just so I can be very precise on getting in that shape. And if you happen to go out of the lines, that's okay too, because we're always going to clean up our brows after. Now that we have the bottom of the brow all lined out, I'm just going to be flicking up little hair-like strokes from the beginning of the brow to the end of the brow, and just kind of filling it in as we go. Based off just doing one eyebrow, I definitely feel like this pencil isn't as precise as I would like it to be. However, I do feel like the formula is great. It's not too waxy on the brows, and it does a great job at filling in the brows as well as laying them down. I also feel like this is a pretty good shade for my brows. It is a little bit on the darker side, but it doesn't really matter to me. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other brow off camera, and I'll be right back. Alright you guys, that is both brows all filled in. Props to you, E.L.F. This was like a $3 brow pencil, and it was freaking amazing. Like I said before, it's definitely not, you know, the most precise brow pencil that I've ever used, but it's definitely good as far as filling in the brows. It's very pigmented as well, so it definitely helps to fill in any of those sparse areas. However, if you're looking for something a little more precise, that way you don't have to clean up your brows, this is probably not the best option for you. Up next, I'm going to be laying down my brow hairs with the Beautifully Bare Sheer Tint Brow Gel. Now, I have used brow gels before. My personal favorite is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel, and once I saw this, I definitely had to try it out. Now, they did have a clear version, but I obviously went with the tinted version. This is the shade Medium. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. Oh, that is pretty flimsy. I would like for that to have been a little less cheap. I feel like that wand is a little cheap. It's a little flimsy, but hey, that's okay. What really matters is the product inside. So this is the little wand it comes with, kind of like a little pipe cleaner-esque type. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on the brows. Alright, so right off the bat, I do have pretty thick eyebrows, and I'm definitely noticing that this little flimsy wand ain't gonna do it for these thick ass bitches. It's just not gonna work. I'm trying to get it to actually go through my brow hairs, and it is not doing it. Yeah, instead of like coming into the brow hairs and through the brow hairs, it's more of like laying the product over top, which is alright I guess, but that's not really, you know, what we're going for. And I think most of it has to do with this flimsy wand. Now I'm just going back in with the spoolie on the brow pencil just to help get that product actually through the brows instead of on top. Ultimately, I think the brow gel did a nice job at laying down the hairs of the brow. However, I just feel like the packaging is a little bit of a flop. Like, it's just a flop. It's just definitely a flop, you know? Come on, E.L.F., let's up the wand game here, okay? And I also feel like the tint of the brow gel was a little bit lackluster. I feel like we could have had more tint for sure. Also went ahead and cut out my brows with the P. Louise base. Now I'm going to go in with this Prime and Stay finishing powder in the shade Fair Light. So this is what it looks like, just a small plastic container. I'm going to take my JH07 brush, just dip into this, and set that down. Now usually I wouldn't set the P. Louise base, but today I'm not going in with any eyeshadow, so I'm just setting the base to last all day. And we'll actually be coming back to this later when I set my face after doing foundation and concealer. And next we're going to be going in with foundation. This is the Flawless Finish Foundation in the shade Alabaster. This is supposed to be an oil-free, medium to full coverage foundation that achieves a flawless, even satin matte base. It says that this is a flawless finish foundation that delivers comfortable coverage with lasting wear. The creamy blendable formula melts into the skin with a flawless looking complexion all day long. That's what we're going to try out today. Now the CVS that I went to, they didn't have a lot of anything really in the E.L.F. department. And it was all kind of rummaged through and not really restocked, if that makes sense. So a lot of things I just kind of had to pick out what was there, you know? So I'm gonna go ahead and see if the shade Alabaster will work for my skin tone. Little thick formula right there, you see. I actually think this will be a great skin match for myself. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a pretty great shade. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so this is the foundation that I picked up, and I also picked up the E.L.F. concealer as well, and that is the shade that I picked up. It was also the only shade that they had. So that concealer shade is not going to work for me. Maybe I can mix in one of my other concealers and make it work. I'm going to go ahead and start laying this foundation down. I'm going to be using my Gino Inco sponge as always. Just dotting this all over the skin. It definitely has a nice sort of sweet makeup-y smell, but it's not like bam in your face. It ain't none of that. It smells pretty good actually. A lot better than some of my other foundations, so that's pretty good. And if you have any trouble with foundation sitting weird on your nose right here, I just like to put my finger in there and push it out and just push that foundation into those pores, and it should work out flawlessly. So far, I'm really loving how the foundation blended out on my skin. But I don't know if you guys can see, but I still have a little bit of my redness and dark spots coming through on the sides of my cheeks as well. So I would say that this is like a low-medium coverage. However, I am going to go in with a little bit more product and see if I can build it up at all. Alright, so that did build up pretty nicely after adding that second layer on those spots. But I would still definitely say that this is a medium, not full coverage. But I definitely love the finish and how it looks on my skin right now. I don't have any creasing or anything going on. Now I also have the E.L.F. HD Lifting Concealer in the shade Light. There is one shade lighter than this, but they actually didn't have it. So this is a little too dark for my skin tone. So this is the light concealer shade compared to the Alabaster shade in the foundation. And that's not gonna work for me today. It's just not. Sorry about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lay down my ColourPop concealer first right under the eyes. I'm going to layer this on top and see if I can get those two to mix together. I really don't want to be looking like a Oompa Loompa out at work today, so this is what I'm doing. Sorry about it. This is the ColourPop concealer in the shade 2, I think, and it's, you know, pretty white. Originally I bought this concealer a little light just to mix in with other concealers as well. Plus I like it on its own. Now I'm going to go in with the E.L.F. concealer and place that down as well. Now, this is definitely way too dark for me, but hopefully with these shades being mixed together, it'll be more of my skin tone. Now my concealer doesn't have to be, you know, lighter than my foundation. I'd rather it be the same shade as my foundation than darker, because otherwise you look like a crazy person and nobody wants to look like a crazy person. I also started using a brush to blend out my concealer rather than my beauty sponge, and literally works wonders. This is the Morphe JH08 brush, and it's lovely. So I'm going to start off with blending out my chin. Alright, that's not too bad. That looks pretty good. I'm going to do my forehead. I like to do the under eyes last just because I like to give them a moment just to settle down a little bit and really take in that full coverage effect. I feel like that's looking pretty good. Now my nose is looking rubbish as fuck, so I'm going to be adding a little bit more of this concealer right here. Let's just go back over that. I'm going to go ahead and blend out the under eyes. And now that we have that concealer all laid down, I'm just going to be going in with this E.L.F. pressed powder, the same one that we use to set the eyelids. I'm going to be setting the whole face and the under eye. I'm going to look up and make sure that I don't have any creases underneath the eye, because we don't want to set creases. We want to set a flat surface so it'll stay a flat surface. I'm just going to be taking that brush and setting that concealer. Now that we have the under eyes set, I'm just going in with this fat ass brush. This is the JH01 brush. I'm going to be dipping into that powder. I'm going to be setting the whole face. So far I feel like my face is looking pretty good. I am noticing a little bit of separation of the concealer on my nose. Honestly, that could be a number of things. It could be the concealer itself. It could be that I mixed two different concealers and something in those concealers are not mixing right. Now that we just laid that powder all over the face, I'm going to be going in with the E.L.F. Matte Magic Mist and Set. Oh, alright E.L.F. Cute little bottle we got going on here. I like it. Give her a shake. Now let's see how the spray is. Ooh, she's heavy. Look at that, yeah. She's definitely a heavy mister. Let's go ahead and set the face. Alright. Now it definitely does have a heavy mister, however I didn't find that any of the droplets like clumped up on my face. You know how sometimes that happens with setting sprays. Did not happen with this one. Now let's go ahead and start sculpting out the face. I picked up this E.L.F. bronzer palette. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like on the inside. Ooh, I definitely like that it does come with a mirror. Right off the bat, I'm noticing that this shade and this shade are very shimmery, and then these two shades are mattes. On camera, they kind of all look the same, but in person, they are not the same. I'm going to start off by mixing this matte shade right here and this shimmery shade right here and mixing them together as a contour color. Just go right in and start chiseling out the face. Not bad. I'm finding that these powders actually blend out super easily. You also notice that I'm using stippling motions rather than swiping motions. I just find that using stippling motions for any powders on top of foundation and concealer just helps everything go a lot smoother. Sometimes when you're swiping your brush around, you'll start to remove the product underneath, and that is not the goal today. Overall, I like the two shades that I picked out, although I do feel like one of them is a little red, which is fine. It's starting to be spring, and you know, everyone loves a little bit of flush of color. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same exact thing on the other side. Also want to note that there is a fair bit of fallout in the formula. I'm using these two shades right here, and there's a bit of fallout. But that's okay. Ultimately, I don't think fallout is such a big deal, especially on a cheaper cosmetics brand. But ultimately, I feel like these two shades mixed together work out really well for my skin tone, and it blended out like a dream. Like, hello. Just looking pretty good. I'm also gonna throw some of this right underneath the chin as well. So far, I'm pretty freaking impressed with this little bronzer palette. It's doing pretty good. Blending out very nicely, not having any problems blending. I'm just going in with this JH02 brush. I'm just going to softly blend everything together. Just kind of blend everything out, blend it down, blend it up, blend it all around. Because we want this bitch to be looking good. Now on camera it does look a little red, but in person it really doesn't look that bad. I actually like it. Looking a little snatched moment today. Now that we have the face carved out a bit, I'm just going to be going in with this baked highlighter. This is the shade Moonlight Pearls. I'm gonna go ahead and take my highlighting brush. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the product. Oh, it is dusty as fuck. Just gonna swirl my brush on the product. I'm gonna give her a little bit of spray with the E.L.F. spray that we got. Let's see how this bitch works out. Okay, E.L.F. I mean, she's not the most blinding highlight I've ever seen, but she's definitely a subtle lip from within, and when you build her up, girl, she is popping. That's pretty good. I think I paid like $2 or $3 for this highlighter, so like, come through, E.L.F. Looking snatched. A little bit of this on the chin. A little bit of the forehead as well. Love a good highlighted forehead. Put this on the tip of the nose as well. I'm very impressed with this highlighter from E.L.F. It is pretty freaking good. Alright, now that we have the highlighter laid down, I'm just going to be going in with this blush. This is the E.L.F. blush in the shade Blushing. So just a little pretty pink color for my favorite types of blushes. I like the very pinky blushes, just like this. I'm just going to be picking that up on my blush brush. This is the JH04 brush. I love applying blushes after contour and highlight, just because I feel like it makes everything blend together and mesh very nicely. Up next, I'm going to be taking that finishing powder. I'm going to be taking a little bit of that My Gino & Co sponge. I'm going to be cutting this bitch out. Let me show you. Hey, that came out nicely. Okay, so what ended up happening is the powder just kind of melted into my skin. So what I'm doing is I'm taking that powder and I'm just pressing it over the contour and blush and just helping that blend into the skin. That way it doesn't look as harsh. You see what I did there? Ultimately, I think that worked out fabulously. I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a little spritz with the setting spray. Okay, maybe a heavy spritz. Last but not least, I picked up some mascara. This is the Lengthening and Voluming Mascara in the shade Black. It's supposed to achieve a thick, full, and long-looking lash. The formula helps prevent clumps and is quick drying so you can have color that stays on all day without smudging or flaking. Alright, we're going to be having this on for a little bit today, so let's see how it works. So this is the packaging. Just unscrew the top, and there's the mascara wand right there. It's a nice thick wand. Hopefully it'll separate these lashes out nicely. So far I'm not getting volumizing or lengthening. Maybe a little bit of lengthening, but it's really not very dramatic. What do you guys think as far as, you know, one coat versus no coat? I think it definitely looks alright. Let me give you a second coat and see what we really got going on here, okay? Going in with coat number 2. One thing that I do really like is that it's keeping my lashes separated and they're not clumping up. It did a pretty good job. I think this is more of like an everyday mascara rather than something that you were trying to like drastically improve your lash game. Like, this ain't gonna do it for you if you were expecting your mascara to create false lashes, because this is not it. Alright you guys, this is the look all complete. Unfortunately, I didn't pick up any E.L.F. lip products. All of the ones that I looked at in store were all separated and clumpy and they just looked gross. I don't know if the formula is weird and it just unsettles, but I went to 2 different CVS's and all of them were like that. But honestly, everything that I tried today was really great. The only thing that really sticks out that I didn't like was the brow gel. I just felt like the wand was a little too flimsy for a brow gel, especially when it's trying to get in and separate the brow hairs out. So that was a miss for me. And then honestly, everything else looked really nicely. I just felt like I didn't get enough, you know, voluming and lengthening from the mascara. But I do like it as more of an everyday mascara. I definitely feel like it fluffied out the lashes instead of clumping them up. And it worked really well as far as the bottom mascara as well. All of the powder products that I used today blended out flawlessly on the skin. And I'm very happy how this look turned out. I know this is more of a natural look today and I didn't have any eyeshadow as well. But I'm just going to work, so it wasn't like needed to go all out, you know. So yeah, with that being said, I'm very happy, very impressed with E.L.F. Cosmetics, and I'll probably be trying out more from their brand as well. So I hope you guys liked this video. I know I enjoyed filming it. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. That would help me out a lot. And I'll see you guys next week with another new video. Bye guys.